5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and it's time for
Craig and Ryland's Magic Review Show.
I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
Welcome back to the review show. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Magic TV. First of all, before you do anything, hit the subscribe button. Second of all, we have some amazing tricks. Got a bumper edition. We've got 5 tricks that we're looking at this week, mainly because 2 of these tricks are completely and totally unperformable. So unfortunately, there's 2 tricks we can't perform. We'll get into that why later on. But put it this way, there's some not very good tricks in this review show. However, we are starting off with an incredible trick, aren't we? We're starting off with Trick of the Week. It's a coin trick, and it's one of the best coin tricks I've seen. Let's have a look at that right now. Okay, so the first trick we're going to be looking at is Chained. Chained
by
Perry
Maynard.
Perry Maynard, yeah. Chained by Perry Maynard, modern and unique magic penetrates solid through solid.
Correct.
And it is correct. This is so cool. What it is it's a chain that goes around your neck. So you have a chain around your neck. Now, I've used the Regal ring chain for years. Ever since I reviewed it back on the Wizard product review, which is like a chain that you wear around your neck, and it's the finale to a...
There's also one that you have a thing, but you've also got to carry this thing with like 3 spike things that you can take out, and you wrap the golden chain around it.
Oh yeah, totally different thing. Yeah. Totally different thing. But the Regal ring chain is sort of a finale to a ring and string routine. It's very, very good. This is a totally different thing. It reminds me a little bit of... it's a little bit like Charming Chinese Challenge, in that you've got coins penetrating on and off
it's only one
something.
Coin,
but it's only one coin. It's a 4-phase routine. It's super commercial. I'm going to perform the routine for you first of all, then we'll talk about why it's so good. I am so excited to do this in the real world. I think this is great. Let's have a look at it right now. Okay, so there's certain skills that you need to be able to have when you're a magician. Obviously, there's the classic ones that everyone knows about. You've got to be really good at presenting things. You've got to be good at sleight of hand, dexterity. Everything like that is important. But if you're going to be a professional magician, you have to learn about the business side of magic, a keen mind for marketing. There's another skill that as a magician, I think that you really should have. And it's something that I feel through my career I've mastered, and that's to have a really good sense of fashion. Stop laughing, Sarah.
Laughing.
Yeah.
You can't see my wife currently, but she's giggling like a little schoolgirl. Look, despite what my wife says, I've always had an amazing sense of fashion. Over the last 18 months, do you know how many magicians in the magic community are now rocking blue checked shirts?
One.
They're going for the one. They're going for the lumberjack look. It's not just one. There's many of them. I'm a trendsetter.
And I know you've got many of them. But...
Yes, I have got lots, but I'm going to be setting a new trend on fire. I guarantee you all the conventions in 2022, people are going to be going for this, because this is the new thing. This is a $50 on a chain. This is going to be the ultimate magician's accessory. It's a little $50, 2 holes cut in it, and it's on a chain, and that looks really cool. But obviously, if you are a magician, you should be able to do something magic-like with this. So if I just do this, I can actually have it come right through the chain. Now, Ryan, that's not a special coin. You can have a look at that. It's just 2 holes drilled in a coin. It's a normal chain. You can examine the chain around my neck. It's a normal coin, and yet I'm able to just make that coin penetrate through the chain. I can even make it go back on, which is so weird. Let me see if I can go one step further. Ryan, I want you to cup your hands together for me, if you can, please. And I'm just going to take this underneath there. Put your hands underneath there. If I just do this, I can have it go straight through the chain. Don't you think that's kind of weird? But look, every trick needs a big finish. Give me a bit of space. I'm going to try and go one more thing for you. What I'll do is I'll take the chain, and I'm going to bring it inside my t-shirt, okay? So it's around about there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the coin up into my t-shirt. Now, you can probably feel the coin there. Can you feel it? Yeah? Watch this. 1, 2, 3. And I can have it penetrate through my t-shirt. Not only that, but it's penetrated through my t-shirt onto the chain. There it is, right there on the chain. Through the t-shirt, through the chain, and you can examine everything. So that was the performance. What do you think of that, Ryan?
I think it's very good.
Like, immediately when you saw it, you were like, this has got to be Trick of the Week.
Yes.
Because it's so... Let me tell you, first of all, a few reasons why this is so commercial. First of all, it's examinable at the end. It's not examinable at the beginning, but it is examinable at the end. So at the end of the routine, when it's gone on the chain for the final time, you take it off and you can examine everything, which is great. You don't need a table. In fact, it's best if you don't use a table for the moves. It was a little bit more difficult for me sitting down than it would have been.
In the spectator's hand.
Yeah, it happens in the spectator's hand, which is really good. It's
instead of a table, like you drop it on the table. Instead of using the table, like you dropped it on the table for the first two, then you did it on the hand. You could do hands for all if there's no
exactly.
Table, so you could do it walk around.
You can do it. Oh, it's amazing for walk around.
Yeah.
There's no angle issues really to consider because of how the routine's constructed.
Side.
Not really, no, because you're holding it here, so your arm is blocking it, and this arm is blocking it. It's completely. If you've got somebody right next to you, you can block the angles very, very easily.
Well, I saw it from here.
Yeah, because I knew you knew how it worked, so I wasn't blocking it from your angle. But if there was somebody there, right next to me, well, first of all, I'd tell them to get lost. COVID, go away. But even if I'm joking, even if they, they were there, you could cover the angles very, very easily. Each phase gets progressively stronger, and I think the problem with some multi-phase routines is there's certain phases in the middle that are weaker, but this all makes sense. It comes off, then when it goes up, then they examine the coin, then you immediately put it back on again, then it comes off into their hand, and then you've got that final moment where it penetrates through the t-shirt back onto the chain. I mean, it's just really, really strong. One thing that I thought I would have an issue with, but I haven't. I thought it'd be a bit of an issue walking around with a chain on your, kind of going up to a gig and kind of going, right, okay, hi, my name's Craig, I'm the magician, let me show you a trick, and kind of having this chain around your neck. I thought it might look a little bit weird. It would work.
Kind of cool.
Okay, I think it would work for some people. Well, what I thought is I could have the chain in my t-shirt so that people can't see it. And then when I want to do the routine, I say, here, let me show you something. I've got this chain around my neck, and take it out and go into it then. So it's kind of tucked away so that people can't see it. But then when I want to go into it, I can just take it out and show them. Although you are right, if it's actually hanging around your neck, people might go, oh, what's that? What's that all about? What does that do? So
and then you can go into the trick.
And then you can go into the trick. They can ask you what that's for, and you can say, well, I do a trick with it. Let me show you. So there's that to consider. The other thing is you have to be wearing a t-shirt to do this trick. If you think about it, if you're wearing a button, or a jumper, but if you're wearing a buttoned up shirt, it's probably not going to work. That final phase, you'd struggle tucking it down into the shirt.
Because it might just like swing around and then pop out.
Well, it'd be hard to put it down. Yeah. So if you're wearing a suit and tie at your gig, or you're wearing a suit and tie or a waistcoat,
or a suit and bow.
This is something that wouldn't really work. Now, a lot of the time when I'm doing close-up, not all the time.
You don't have to do the final phase, though.
No. Well, that's the other thing. Although the final phase is what makes it examinable. Although I did think that what you could do with the final phase... I'll get into that in a minute. I've got a solution to that.
Actually, you can just get it and then...
Well, what I was going to say... Right, okay. The final phase is what makes it examinable. If you haven't got a T-shirt, you could do the first 3 phases. And then on the final phase, you could take the chain off and take the coin, and they've got the coin there with the holes in, do a spellbound move, have it go onto the chain and then give it them. So you could kind of structure it that way if you wanted to, but it's something you need to be aware of. I wear a t-shirt with a suit jacket over it a lot when I'm performing, not all the time. Sometimes I'm suited and booted. It depends on the gig. But you know what? This is a great sort of everyday carry type thing, because you just put it around your neck. It's there when you need it, and when you don't need it, it's just tucked away. The only other consideration that I had, which I thought might be a bit of an issue, and I won't know till I actually try it out in a gig, is I'm a little bit worried that if I have it set up to do the trick and I'm walking around, the coin might fall off, because when you first start it, it's set off to do the first penetration off the chain, and although it's on there securely, I could see it falling off if you're not careful. Now, the way that I kind of think of getting around that, I don't know if that's an issue because I've not done it in a gig yet. It might not be an issue. But if it is an issue, the way I've got around that is you just have it into your shirt, and when you want to get into this, you get the gimmick into your right-hand finger palm, you take this out, and as you take it out, you feed the gimmick onto the chain, so as it comes out from your shirt, they see the coin hanging there. So again, that's not an issue. You can have it without the gimmick set up and set it up as you bring it out to show them. But in terms of commercial, it is super commercial. Like I say, examinable at the end. Magic happens in the spectator's hand. It's different. It's not your coins across, your typical coin trick. It's not your typical card trick. It would make a great opener. and make a really good second piece as well. I think what would be really good is to do this to open and then go into Charming Chinese Challenge.
Yeah.
So you do this and you say, well, maybe you didn't know what was going to happen. So let's see if we can make it a little bit more easier to follow. We'll use 3 coins and we'll use this piece of ribbon, and then you go into Charming Chinese Challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this. I think this is great.
You could still use a chain in. Well, actually, you can't. If you use a chain, you can't really shoot it off.
What are you talking about? Charming Chinese Challenge?
Yeah,
you'd struggle.
If you cut a chain in half, which you can't really do because it's metal, but if you manage to, you can't really shoot the coins.
Yeah, you're talking about for the first phase in Charming Chinese Challenge,
you can shoot a coin out.
Yeah, you'd struggle, wouldn't you? Yeah. You'd struggle. But yeah, I'm going to give this 100%. I think this is really good.
I think...
Excuse me. Go on.
We're thinking about, we've only just started the year, but... we're thinking about Tornado Cube. This is like the one just before Tornado Cube.
You think so?
Yeah.
You really like this, don't you?
Yeah.
And would you do this at school? Would you have this around your neck and you do this? Would you? Yeah. I'm going to give this 100. I'm going to give this 100%. I think it's brilliant. What are you giving it?
100%.
100% from Ryland. 100% from me. Also, by the way, you don't need to be a super amazing coin worker to do this. If you don't do much coin magic, that's absolutely fine.
You only got to do a couple of moves.
Not even a couple of moves. You just got to do one move. It's a finger palm and that's it. There's a kind of a Bobo switch. I threw a shuttle pass in there, but you don't need to do the shuttle pass. That was just my decision to do that because it cleaned up a moment for me that I wasn't particularly happy about for my own personal use. But you don't need to do the shuttle pass. So it's actually very easy to do as well. Really good. Highly recommended. Well done, Perry Maynard. Okay, so the next trick that we've got is the Magician's Projection Pen by John Horn. Which these are only available directly from John Horn. If you haven't seen John before, he's had some great releases over the years. He brought out Smudged through Alakazam, which was very good. A lot of workers were using his paddle routine at Christmas last year. He's got some really great material out. This is the Magician's Projection Pen. Now, he's just brought out the superhero version, which we'll get into in a minute. But you can get from
There's
John...
also a card version. Yeah,
you can get the classic version, which is playing cards, or you can get the superhero version. We'll talk about both of them. We'll talk about the classic version first, because that's your favourite, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can tell them why it's your favourite in a second. But basically what it is it's a pen. The pen writes really well. So the first thing you need to understand, it's one of those swivel pens. The pen writes really well. It's very easy to change the ink in the pen. It's not a Sharpie pen, but if you're doing something where you're making predictions, this is a great biro. But what he's done is he's put a card revelation on the side of the pen. So on the side of the pen, you've got Queen of Hearts.
Or
now,
Six of Hearts.
Or Six of Hearts. There's lots of different versions.
Let's do a performance before we talk about.
Well, yeah, okay.
What's going to happen?
You are right. Let's do a performance. So I'm going to show you a video of Ryland performing this, and then we'll talk about the pros and the cons.
I've got a pack of cards here.
Okay. I'm guessing we're doing a card trick.
Yes, and well, they're all there, all different.
Okay, cool, brilliant stuff. Yeah.
Fancy roulette deck.
It is a fancy roulette deck. Yes.
Roulette deck. Okay.
Yep.
Now I'm just going to shuffle the cards.
Okay. Very well shuffled.
Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to deal into a pile.
Deal the cards into a pile?
Yeah. And stop anywhere.
Just like this?
Yeah, like that. Stop anywhere. Where you want to. And once you've done that, I want you to split them into 2 piles.
What, just by just cutting like that? Or?
No, as in like deal.
Oh, right, like this?
Deal them into, yeah, like that.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, now, did you know I had this pen here?
Yeah, I saw the pen.
Yeah, now, you might not have seen it, but there was some writing saying Queen of Hearts.
Okay.
Now, you probably thought you didn't see that, but you actually did see that.
No, I definitely didn't see that.
You did, and it influenced you, well, to get, well, not that one, but influenced you to get that Queen of Hearts.
No, that's not right. That's not possible. No, don't believe you.
Well, you see this pen, it's got a little torch here.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's got a little torch, but look at this.
The 7 of clubs. Very, very, very cool. Love that. So that's a performance, and as you can see, it's got a really nice secret built into it, which is the button on the side activates a torch.
Yeah, so this one, which is the Queen of Hearts, does a 7 of clubs.
We'll get to that. We'll get to the other pen in a minute. Now, here's the thing. There's not really any instructions with this. You come up with your own way of performing it. Ryland had the idea of using influence, which is really nice, you know. So you have the pen on the table and you say, hey, I'm going to try and influence you. Try to stop me from influencing you. You then force 2 cards and you say, well, you know, did you feel influenced? No. Well, look, you were looking at this the whole time, which is quite a nice thing. And then you've got the button at the side, which makes the 7 of clubs. Now, what Ryland did, and I don't know if other people have done that, and I saw Ry do this, and I thought this was a really great idea, was he shines it in his hand so it looks like a normal torch. And then as you come out, it's like the 7 of hearts just appears.
Well, 7 of clubs.
Sorry, the 7 of clubs just appears as you bring your hand away. Now, doing it on the hand looks really good. Doing it on a table looks really good. If you're in a darkish room, which we aren't right now, but if you're in a darkish room,
But you can sort of already
yeah,
see
over
it.
there it looks really good. You can do it on the ceiling. So if you're in kind of a restaurant or something, you can shine it up to the ceiling. It'll look really good. That's what the projection pen is. That's what it does. It forces 2 playing cards.
It's a protection.
Yeah, exactly. Now the other pen, it forces. It's got a card written on the side
6 of hearts, and then the light is Batman.
with a yellow light. I really
Yellow
like that.
light.
Now I actually prefer Batman. I prefer the Batman thing. Why do you not prefer Batman?
I don't like DC.
He doesn't like. Can you believe that? That's why he doesn't like that version, because he doesn't like DC. He's a Marvel kid. So that's the reason. He's a very hardcore Marvel fan. You're not into Superman. You're not into Batman.
The only person I'm into in DC is Flash.
There you go. He's only into the Flash. But I really like that revelation. I really do. I love the
Lights
idea.
on the walls as well.
I love the idea of using something like digital force bag to force the superhero. Okay. Yeah, I know it looks good. I get it. Look, there's Batman. I like the idea of using something like digital force bag to force a superhero. Right, I'm confiscating them now. You're annoying me. No, right. We'll get them back in a minute. Okay, they're yours. You can have them. So I love the idea of forcing digital force back and forcing the superhero, and then having someone pick a card and having that double revelation. I mean, what's really nice about this?
We could use our little Batman Force superhero book.
Yeah, your Batman forcing book. Yeah, you could do that. What I like about this is it takes up no pocket space. You just literally put it in your pocket.
Now I've got it.
You put it into your pocket. It's there, ready to go anytime you want to do it, anything with it. But it's also a really good pen. So if you're doing predictions or you're writing on business cards or something, you've got a perfect pen to carry around with you to do that. But you've got a revelation built into it. That's we're always looking for new revelations as long as they're good. I have to say, key word, as long as they're good and they're different and they're unique.
Yes, not like the one we're about to view.
Yeah, not like something that we're going to be looking at later, which is not so great. But this is but this is great. I mean, you've got you've got the Batman revelation.
This
you've got
is
the
my favourite one, 7 of clubs.
So what are you going to give this? I'm going to definitely carry this around with me. Why would I not want to carry this around with me?
Who wouldn't?
Exactly. I'm going to give this 90%. What about you?
I'm going to give this 1,000.
1,000%.
Yes.
Wow, dude. Okay, so it's 1,000% from Ryland. It's 90% from me. If you want something nice and quick and nice and simple, that's super commercial, that you can literally use in whatever way that you want, then this is perfect. They're only available directly from John Horn. Yeah, of course they do. Yeah. So it's only available directly from John Horn. You can get them from him. But yeah, it's highly recommended. So next up, we have Presents by Sky Member and Abdullah Mahmood. Now what this is, well, first of all, go check out the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer for this, go and check it out. We'll run some footage of the trailer over the review in a bit. The trailer makes it look amazing, doesn't it, Ryan?
Yeah.
Like, it makes it look brilliant. And when you saw it, you were like, that's a camera trick. There's no way you can do it.
It's not a camera trick. You can't do it live, though.
No.
You can't do it live. That's why it's in the studio. You cannot do this live.
Yeah, I know. You're really annoyed about this.
Balancing on two.
Yeah, I know you're annoyed with this. I'll tell you right now, we're not going to perform this. And there's a few reasons why I'm not going to perform this. The main reason being, I am not going to spend the amount of time it's going to take to make this look half decent when there's absolutely no way on God's green earth I am ever going to perform this in the real world. Never, ever, ever going to perform this in the real world. So what you have here, I'm more than happy to tell you what you get with this. What you get is you get some invisible thread. You get white invisible thread and you get black invisible thread. That's all you get. You get white invisible thread, you get black invisible thread.
You don't
and you
get
get
lunch or anything?
No, you get
How much is this?
I can't remember, it's about 30 quid or something like
30?
that.
How much is invisible thread just to get on its own?
Not very expensive.
This is stupid.
You also get a 30-minute tutorial. Now, it's fine charging 30 quid for just some invisible thread if it's a practical thing that you can do, because the trailer makes it appear like it's practical, right? It makes it appear like it's really practical, and it says, it's got a big disclaimer that comes up on the screen at the beginning saying, hey, we have purposefully turned the studio lights up so you can see this, so you can see the thread during the performance, but in the real world, you won't have these lights and so on and so forth. Here's the thing, there is no live performance of this on
I don't think they've actually turned up the lights on the studio so you can do this. I think you can actually see it no matter what.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? Why would you not do a live performance of this? Why would you not do a live performance of this?
Because you can't.
Yeah, that's probably the reason. Because here's the thing, you are going to have comments from magicians saying this is not doable in the real world. The way to prove to them that that's wrong is by going out into the real world and doing this over and over again, inside and outside, and then doing a commentary track over the top where you actually where you analyze the performance and you go, well, look, this is the angles that I was working from, and notice I had this person here and I had this person here, and the reason I did that is because of the angles and blah, 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 blah. You didn't do that. It's easy to do that. You are a professional production company. I run a YouTube channel and I do videos like that every single week with a commentary track. So if I can do it and I can go out into the real world and get real world footage, why can't you? Well, I think, and he said it, he's 9 years old and he knows the reason you can't do that is because this is not workable in the real world. What you have here is you have something that solves a problem that doesn't exist. It's a vanish. If you don't know what it is, it's a vanish of a coin. Go get me a coin. It's a vanish of a coin, right? So it's you put the coin in your hand, you close your hand, the coin disappears. Now, in order to do this, in order to get that clean vanish, you've got to have a hookup. So you've got to have an invisible thread hookup all over your head and over your ear, and you've got to have this invisible thread hookup. You've got to have the coin blue tacked. They don't talk about how to get into this.
All you have to do is this. You see this coin here? I'm just going to put it in my hand. Watch this.
Well, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Yeah. So they're doing this thing where they make the coin disappear and then they make it come back. But you've got to have this ridiculous hookup. They don't explain how to get into that hookup or how to actually set yourself up before you go over to a table. They just say, this is how to hook yourself up, hook you up. Now, this is how to do the trick. I have a theory, and I've talked about it on this channel before. If a project does not talk to you about how to get into this in the real world, then it's something that they've not actually done. They've just had a half-assed brain fart, and they've thought, let's just sell this and make some money from magicians. And that's genuinely what I think here. Because magicians are going to watch this vanish and go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But in reality, when you do this thing's dangling down here like this. That's all that's happening. It's dangling here. And he says, oh, bring your hand down like this because that's going to cover the angles of the coin. No, it's not. You're going to have, nobody's going to be able to get away with this because you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and you're going to have people see how it's done. Even if they don't see the invisible thread, and you didn't really spend much time talking about lighting conditions, and that's ridiculous. Yeah, I love that. At the beginning of the tutorial, they went, oh, you want to bear in mind your lighting when you're working with invisible thread. Our advice is to go and buy some videos on how to use invisible thread, and then they'll teach you how to do it. No, if you're going to tell somebody, if you're going to sell people invisible thread and sell them a project with invisible thread, you need to cover that yourself. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to have magicians go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. They're going to watch it. They're never going to do it. It's going to go in the bottom drawer. What's the difference between that and just doing something like a Vernon Steele? You know, I can do the same thing. I can put it in my hand, show my hand's empty. I don't have to have it dangling down here. I can then close my hand, do a Vernon thingy-me-bob, and I can have it come back in the hand. There's virtually no difference from a layman's point of view. There's no difference me doing that and what you're doing, other than the fact that I can do this anytime, anywhere, from any angle, and it would fool people, as opposed to what you have done, Sky Member, which is put this whole project together, which won't work. And don't get me started on the thing in the trailer with the ring. There's this moment where you have a ring, and then you show this hand empty, and you close your hand, and it's like this amazing transposition, and then you close your hand and it jumps back, and that's the moment that people are going to buy this for. And what you have is you have two rings dangling down from invisible thread like this.
So you can borrow this ring, because you've got to have two of the exact same rings.
Yeah, and they don't tell you how to get into it. They don't tell you how to get out of it. This is a cash grab, plain and simple. And you know what? I have seen this over and over again with Sky Member. You have one of two things. Either you've got a trick which looks amazing in the trailer, and it does look amazing in the trailer, but when you actually start to watch the tutorial, you realise it's completely and totally asinine and wouldn't fool a blind monkey and doesn't work and is completely impractical. And you wouldn't even do this for social media. You wouldn't do this for social media because ultimately, at the end of the day, there's a million ways of doing this in social media better. There's a million ways to make a coin disappear and jump from one place to another better than that. There are a million different ways that are way more practical. But like I say, you do one of two things. You either produce tricks like the Nomad Ring 2, which is the quality is down the toilet and it falls apart within 0.2 seconds. Or if you actually bring out a trick that actually, and it's very difficult to not screw up invisible thread. You know, you've just provided some invisible thread. You have this product which just doesn't work. I don't need invisible thread. I've got gravity. I don't need your invisible thread. And this is a cash grab. Plain and simple, that's what it is. It's a cash grab. There is no performer, right, get the scissors. There is no performer, cut that up. There is no performer anywhere in the world, make sure you get all of the stuff as well. There is no performer anywhere in the world that is ever going to do that. And here's an idea, Sky Member. Why don't you start being a little bit more honest with your trailers?
This
Why
is
don't
not invisible thread, it's wool.
No, you separate it. It's invisible thread. Just give me the thing and just cut it up like that. Just do that. Just get rid of it. Put it in the bin. Get in the bin. Put it in the bin. Here's the thing. Your trailers need to be a lot more honest because they are so deceptive. They are so deceptive. And by the way, this isn't Hollywood. This is the magic community. I'm sick to death of seeing your trailers. Yo, it's like a Michael Bay film. Once in a lifetime comes a vanish that you'll never expect. Why are you putting so much production value into the trailers, and then when we look at your tutorial, it's a bloke sitting behind a desk for 30 minutes talking about how he can't go out into the real world? Well, here's the reason you can't go out in the real world and perform this. It's not practical. It doesn't work in the real world. It is an absolute, complete and total waste of time, money and effort. No magician should buy this ever. Put it in the bin. No magician should buy this ever. It is absolutely, completely and totally diabolical. You are solving a problem that doesn't exist. Understand that what magicians want is they want a trailer where they get to see the trick in full performed to real people so they can decide whether they want to do it or not. They don't want 5-second visuals of something like this where it's just completely impractical, because all that's going to happen is people are going to buy this and they're going to be disappointed, and then they're going to have less faith in your company. Why don't you start being honest with people? Start being honest about the angle considerations, because this trick has been put out for one reason and one reason only: to get people excited, to get magicians excited
about being money.
Yeah, trying to get magicians excited over something that they're never going to do. And ultimately, like I said, it solves a problem that doesn't exist. There's a million ways to do a vanish or a transposition that you're presenting here, and they can do it in a much cleaner way. Sky Member, you need to start having a quiet word with yourself. This is terrible. It's a cash grab. It gets minus 1,000,000% from me. What about you?
Same.
So next up, we have the clock deck, and the clock deck is by Juan Pablo.
Which is really good.
I love this. I absolutely love this. This is a great trick.
The guy in the tutorial was a bit boring though.
Well, I don't think English was his first language, in all fairness, but Ryland said to me when he was watching the tutorial, is this guy really a performer? It's so boring. And, it's hard to make tutorials interesting, especially when English isn't your first language. Yeah. The tutorial did its job, though. Yes. It might not have interested you, but it did its job. It told us everything that we needed to know. What this reminds me a little bit of Any Card by Richard Sanders, but with a time instead of a playing card, which makes it kind of more impossible when you actually think about it. Now, if you haven't seen this before, I'm going to do a performance to Sarah behind the camera, Ryland's mum. I'm going to perform this for you so you can see exactly how it plays. Sarah's not seen it before. And then when I've performed it, we'll talk about what we think, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, right, I'm going to do this to your mum behind...
Look at me, look at the camera.
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, right, I'm going to do this to your mum behind the camera.
Okay.
Sarah.
Yes?
You're going to help me with this, is that okay?
Okay.
You sound delighted about this.
Oh, ecstatic.
Sarah, I've got a pack of cards here. Now, this is a blue deck of cards. I'm going to tell you that ahead of time, I've done something to this deck. What I've done is I've taken 4 red-backed cards from a red-backed deck, and I've put them into 4 different positions in this blue deck. I want to tell you this ahead of time because those 4 red-backed cards form a prediction. You will see what the prediction is in a minute, but I'm going to put this deck of cards here in front of you. I want you to remember that before I did anything, that deck of cards was placed on the table. Now, Sarah, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to snap my fingers, and when I do, I want you to name a time in the day, but I want you to be super specific. So in other words, I want you to use the 24-hour clock. So if you're thinking of 6:15, for example, it could be 6:50. It could be 6:15 in the morning, or it could be 18:15. But I want you to make it a really random time, okay? Really, really random. It could be right down to the minutes, okay? Make it really random. It could be a time that means something to you. And if it does mean something to you, I'm not going to ask you why it means something to you, but, it could be something that means something to you, or it could be a random time that you've plucked out of the air. I'm going to snap my fingers, and I'd like you to say that time out loud as you can, right now.
14:26.
And does this mean something to you?
No.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Because 14:26 is when you leave the office to pick up your children because you love your kids so much, you're looking forward to seeing them again.
Yeah, we'll go with that, but it's not.
See, she doesn't care. 14:26. And do you remember that I said that I made a prediction? I put 4 red back cards in this deck from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up the cards at my fingertips. I'm going to spread through and I want to show you the 4 cards that I put in here. First of all, the first card is this one. Now, can you see what I wrote on that red back card, Sarah? Can you say it out loud?
There.
Yes, exactly. And the next card that I put in is this one here. Can you see what I wrote on that card?
Time.
The time. And the next one was this one. Can you see what I put on this one?
Is.
And then I had one last one, which is this one here. Can you see that one?
This.
Yeah, the time is this. And one more time, what was the time that you said in nice loud voice?
14:26.
14:26, wasn't it? Which is so cool. Shall I explain why?
Why?
I'm trying to turn this around so you can see. It's cool because I actually wrote those 4 red back cards on the 1, 4, 2, and 6. 14:26. The 4 red cards in the deck right there. 14:26.
Very cool.
Okay, so that was a full performance, and what you just saw there, it's killer, it really is. I'm a big fan of predicting the time. If anybody's got my project Visible, in Visible I actually have a time prediction using an invisible deck, where somebody names a time, and somebody else picks a playing card, and the playing card's reversed in the deck, and the time is written on the back of the playing card. So I love this whole concept of a time being predicted. And as I said, this is kind of taking that plot from Visible, and combining it with kind of Richard Sanders' Any Card. And it's really cool. It's great. I think it'd make a fantastic opener. So what you have here is you just have the deck of cards, and like you saw in the performance, I love the idea of giving this to someone to hold on to and say, look, hold on to that. I'll tell you the truth right now. I've got 4 cards reversed in the deck. I'll get back to those a little bit later. So I've got 4 cards that have got red backs in the deck. We'll get back to that a little bit later on. Then you have someone name a time. One thing that Juan Pablo talks about is how you can actually do this in your show. So you say to somebody in your show, look, at some point in the next 20 minutes, have you got a timer on your phone? You have. can you do me a favour and start the timer? Now, at some point in the show, while I'm performing to you, I would like you to stop the timer. And no matter where we are in the show, I'd like you to say stop. And at that point, I'm going to show you something with this deck, which is absolutely incredible. And at some point, they say stop. And when they say stop, you ask them to read the timeout and you show that the 4 cards that you've got in the deck predict the time that they were going to stop in the show, which is a really nice way of doing it in stage. On stage or on parlour, that's a really nice way of doing it. If you're doing it walk around, the way I did it is probably the way to go, which is just having somebody name a time of the day. And that works really well. Now, you can do it the way that you can do it into the spectator's hands. So when you show the 4
I think I've
red...
I've got a problem that I think I might have found a solution for.
Okay.
You know that...
I really worry about this when you come up with something that we haven't scripted in the middle of filming. Go on, what's the problem?
Well, if they put if they do the time and it's like 10 minutes, what are you going to use the 0 for? I'm thinking, we've got no zero.
They already talked about that. There is a 0. It's the Joker.
That's what I was going to say.
The Joker is the 0. They've actually got the 0 in there, built into it as the Joker.
That's what I was going to say. I thought instead, because there's no actual 0 in a deck, I was thinking about using the Joker.
Yeah, the Joker is actually the 0. So, yeah, you're on the same wavelength as Juan Pablo there, so that's really cool. And obviously you're only half listening when he did the tutorial, because else you'd know that.
I was trying to fix the next stupid trick.
Always an excuse. You were looking at that trick while I was looking at the Sky Member one. We looked at this together earlier on. Yep, I'm right.
Sure.
We looked at it in the hotel room together. You just got a bad memory. I
can remember a deck of cards. Now shut up.
Where was I? Yes. So you can do it into the spectator's hand. So you can have that moment where you've got the 4 red back cards, but as you up jog each red back card, you put it into the spectator's hand so that when you turn them over, they're in the spectator's hands. Now, the negative with doing it that way is as you leave the table, you're going to have to put them back in the deck and reset everything, which would take about 15 seconds. The way I did it, where you up jog it and then turn the deck round, you just put those cards back into position and it's an instant reset. So it's either way is fine. The fact that you're doing it up here is great, because that way, if you're doing it to a big table, for example, everybody will be able to see what you're doing. But if you're doing it close up, you would also be able to do it into the spectator's hands. There's a lot of different options here. I think it's great. I think it's actually as strong as any card, which is rare for me to say because I love any card, but I think this is as strong as any card. The only thing that kind of confuses me, with any card it makes sense because you're getting them to think of a card and then the 4 cards have actually got the spectator's card written on it. The only thing that would need some justification is why you're actually using a deck of cards to predict a time. What's the reason? Why have you put 4 red cards into a blue back deck? I've only started working with this, so I haven't got the reason for that yet, but I think it does need some justification, because you have to present this as a, excuse me, you have to present this as a standalone piece, because you're openly telling people you've got 4 red back cards reversed in the deck. It's not like you can bring it in as a deck switch. So you need to have a reason. What's your reason? I mean, it might be something along the lines of telling a story. I woke up, I was having a sleep the other day and I woke up and I had a premonition and it was about you. So I actually made a prediction with this deck or something, but you need to think of something. But other than that, and that's not explained in the tutorial.
And I'm going to give this 100%.
Yeah, I really like it as well. I'm definitely going to do this. And I think it's going to get a really good reaction. I'm going to give this 95%. It seems to have flown under people's radars. So it's a great trick. 95% from me. 100% from the Kid Magician. Like I said, it's a bumper trick week this week. We've got 5 products. So let's have a look at the last product. So the final trick that we're looking at this week is safe prediction. Now, this is safe prediction right here. It's fallen apart, and the reason it's fallen apart is because it broke within about an hour of us playing around with it.
We couldn't even do what he said.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it all in great detail, but the point is it broke. We were both being very careful with it, and it broke. We both looked at the tutorial. I played around with it, you played around with it.
Watching it over and over again,
Yeah.
and it still wouldn't fix.
Well, It
In
didn't.
the thing, he tells you to take it apart
Yeah.
and then put it back together.
Yeah.
the way you want it to be.
And it didn't do what we wanted it to do. And eventually, when we got it to do what we wanted it to do,
It wouldn't even turn.
yes, but then even when it started to turn, and it did turn, within about 10 minutes it broke. And that's where we are with it right now. What it is, so we can't perform it, and there's no way on God's green earth I'm getting a second one of these. What this is, basically, is it's designed to look like well, it's not a safe. It doesn't look anything like a safe.
It looks like a barrel.
It looks like a barrel. It's meant to be a safe, and the whole idea is it's a 13-minute tutorial, all done to music with subtitles at the bottom and stuff. And what it is you have a piece of paper in here. They're not aware of that, but you have a piece of paper in here, and you bring this thing out, and it would be shut, and you bring it out, and you probably can't see this, but there's 4 sort of tumblers on here. The first one has playing card values, the second one has suits, the third one has playing card values, the fourth one has suits. So the whole idea is you put this down here, you have 3 spectators pick a card, each one of them picks a card, and then you tell them to hold on to the cards, and you say you've got a prediction. That's right. You say you've got a prediction inside the envelope. Inside the pack of cards. You open up the card box and there's a piece of paper in here, and you say, "Look, a piece of it is being ripped off," which doesn't make any sense.
Why don't we show them the performance?
No, we can't. We can't perform it.
Oh yeah.
And then what happens is you say, "Well, have a look at what was your card? It was the 4 of clubs." Yeah, exactly. What was your card? It was the 4 of clubs, and you get them to turn their tumbler to the 4 of clubs. What's your card? Or it was the 2 of hearts.
Yeah, well, that's what we set it up to.
We were going to do it 4 of clubs, 2 of hearts, first 2 cards in mnemonica. Yeah. And then it opens, and inside there's a piece of paper that predicts the third person's card. That's basically what it is.
I hate this.
I know you hate it. Now let me explain.
Stupid trick.
So do I. I'm not as passionate about it as you, but let me explain why I don't like it, first of all. Outside of the fact that it fell apart and the tutorial is terrible and the performance they suggest doesn't make sense, and there's no live performance footage, which is, again, a problem. There's no speaking. Look, okay, I get it. If English isn't your first language, fine, put subtitles. But maybe, just maybe, if you've got a trick and it requires you to explain it, maybe hire somebody. If your big market is English-speaking countries, maybe hire someone who can speak English to teach on the tutorial, possibly, or something. Or at least, if you're going to do subtitles, make it more clear. We had to rewind the thing about 30 or 40 times, and you still made no sense. But by the by, it broke down and stopped working anyway. But that's not my big problem. Earlier on, we talked about the pen. And I said I like the pen. The reason I like the pen is because it's a natural organic object. Everybody knows what a pen looks like. You've got that whole prediction on the side, and then you've got the button that makes the second thing. Everybody can look at it and they can examine it. It's examinable, and people know what a pen is. This looks like nothing at all. This looks not. What is this? This is nothing. It's obviously something that's been designed to do a magic trick, because you've got playing cards on here. So it's obviously been put together specifically to do a magic trick.
All it looks like is when it's put together, which is like.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to do it because it's broken.
But you've got the silver parts, which make it look like a barrel even more.
Yeah, I know.
All it looks like is.
But let me explain the point, right? This has been designed as a magic trick, and any layperson that you show this to will think that this has been designed for a magic trick because it's got playing cards on it, right? The thing is, this particular thing isn't even gimmicked. All this does is allows you to set these 4 tumblers to any 4 values. So what this weird object does is, let's say you want to use 5 of diamonds and 7 of spades, you can set this to 5 of diamonds and 7 of spades, and that's what will open the little safe. So it's not like it's a clever method where people can name any playing card and it'll open this. No, you've got to force the cards with a regular deck of cards. You're forcing the cards with a regular deck. All this thing does is it allows you to just set the cards that are required to open it. So it's not even that clever a method. It's not even that clever a method. When you actually think of the method, you force 3 cards, 2 of the cards open up the safe, and the other card is found written on a piece of paper inside. So the actual method is just a force card, which is fine, but then you've got this thing that looks like nothing on God's green earth. It would make more sense to take something. There's lots of really wonderful little padlocks with numbers in them that allow you to have the spectator's name in any 4-digit number, and the 4-digit number they name opens like Chris Congreve's safe, but that wouldn't work with this.
Safe with the card box.
Michael Murray and Jason Poulter are two people that have bought out combination padlocks that apparently the spectators have a free choice of number. So why couldn't you, if you were going to go down this route, what I would rather do is have somebody pick a card, force a card, have a little box on the table with a padlock on it, with a combination lock, and you say inside there's a prediction, I'll give that to you. Can you pick a card for me? That would be amazing. And force the card on them. And then say, now, here's the thing. I think I've predicted the card that you would pick. But let me prove it to you. You then go into the combination lock routine where they feel like they have a free choice. Did you feel influenced? No. Open up the padlock. Oh my gosh, it's opened. And then you've got the kicker of having a playing card. As opposed to this, which, as I say, from a methodology point of view, it's backwards. From a methodology point of view, it's completely and totally backwards. The prop that you are buying does not do anything other than allow you to program this thing that looks like nothing on God's green earth to open with 2 particular playing cards that you're going to have to force. There's nothing clever about this at all. There's absolutely nothing clever about this at all. And plus, when you bring this out, you know, I'm all for bringing out weird and wonderful objects and weird and wonderful... I know what you're pointing at, and it's going to be me that does that. No, seriously. I'm all for bringing weird and wonderful objects out, like chop cups and things like that. But when you're doing something like this, I think you want to go as organic as possible. And using a combination padlock would be a much better way of doing this trick. Not that the trick's very good anyway, because there's a million different ways to reveal a playing card that's way better than a piece of paper in a box. You may as well do the combination padlock as one trick and then go into a different card revelation. Added to the fact that this broke within an hour of using it, the tutorial is dreadful, and once again we have a situation that I've been banging on about for ages, and myself and Ryland are sick to death of talking about, which is that magic producers need to start producing stuff that is fit for purpose. So first of all, this is not fit for purpose because it broke within an hour. Even when it didn't break, trying to understand the plot, trying to understand how this trick actually works and trying to follow the 13-minute tutorial is like trying to understand what the hell went on in the third Matrix film. It's next to impossible. So you've got this thing that's not fit for purpose, and even if it was fit for purpose, it's not a very good trick. And that's the other thing. Just because you've had a brain fart doesn't mean that you need to bring every single trick out. Just because you're sitting there and you're going, well, you know what, we can have this could have, if you'd worked out a way of having this wonderful, weird-looking contraption where they can freely name a card, and that freely named card opened up this little safe thing, well, then you're onto something. If they could freely name a playing card, and you say, look, these things open up, try it, can you open it? No. Name a playing card, turn it over. Then you're onto something. Then you've got a trick.
They named it.
Yeah, because then you've got a trick. Then you've got a trick.
But it's got to not look like this, because this looks like...
Well, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the other problem with it. This is terrible. Magic producers, stop releasing crap all of the time. Get me the hammer. Look, I don't like, Justin Miller. I'm a very big fan of Justin Miller, right? No, thank you. I'm a very big fan of Justin Miller, and he commented on one of the videos where we destroyed the milk box thing. And he said, I think you're disrespectful destroying that milk box thing. And I'm a big fan of Justin Miller, and I have so much respect for him. And I understand where he's coming from. He said, somebody's worked hard on putting that milk box trick together, and you just destroyed it. It's disrespectful. Yes, I agree. It's disrespectful. But here's the thing. Something like this is disrespecting every magician around the country. Bringing out something like this is disrespecting your customers. A, it doesn't work. B, even if it did work, it's terrible, which is why I'm starting to take a stand. It's why I'm sick to death of this crap that comes out all of the time. I'm absolutely sick to death of it. It's fine. No, I quite like the bag. I could use that for a coin trick. Don't cut up the bag. It's why... At least we got something out of it. We got a nice bag. It's why I'm cutting up and I'm destroying some of this stuff, because it's going to go in the bin sooner or later. I'm not going to keep it. It's not fit for purpose. So I'm either going to smash it up and put it in the bin now, I'm going to wait for the cameras to stop rolling and then smash it up and put it in the bin, or I'm going to stick it in the bottom drawer somewhere, and then a couple of years later when I'm trying to find space, I look at it and I go, oh, this was terrible. I'll put it. Either way, it's going in the bin. It's never going in my show. You don't want to have your stuff smashed up. It's very simple. Just release a trick that's fit for purpose. Hey, there might be tricks that I don't like. I'm not going to smash up those tricks. But when a trick comes out and it's just terrible and doesn't work and it's obviously a cash grab, I'm making a stand. I'm making a stand. It is time that this stuff stopped happening. He's sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick to death of spending my money on stuff that's not fit for purpose. What are you giving it? I'm giving it minus $1 trillion %.
I'm keeping quiet.
You keeping quiet?
I'm not saying anything.
You're not saying anything?
I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it? Are you that depressed about the whole thing?
Yeah.
There you go. You've upset Ryland. Look at him. Look at his upset. He's walked off. He's upset. 0%. What can I say? It's minus $1 trillion %. Have a quiet word with yourself.
And that's another review show in the bag. That's another review show in the bag. That's another review show in the bag with a trick that upset you.
What trick that upset you? Yeah. You wanted it to be really good, didn't you? You like safes. You wanted it to be really...
I like safes, but that's just...
Yeah, I know.
Pile of butt.
Pile of butt. Wow. Ryland goes hardcore. It's a pile of butts. That's what you need to know. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think it's terrible. Let us know what you think. And, you know... If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. We love your comments, so please leave more comments. And yeah, you want to follow Ryland on Instagram, then go check out The Kid Magician. Go follow Ryland on YouTube. He is Ryland the Kid Magician on YouTube as well. We're going to be back next Wednesday with another review show with myself and Rye. Tomorrow I'm going to be back with the magic stuff at 9 o'clock, a shorts at 2 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock a magic live. I'll see you then. Thank you very much. What's that about? You're getting your 1980s groove on, are you? This is what I have to live with. This is what I have to live with. I'm back again soon. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
We'll see you again. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.